Pole. So I'm here in Central Park and I just walked over from the league. And today I'm looking for my friend Carolina Bingham. She is an abstract artist who uses the concept of push and pull a lot in her work. So let's see if we can find her somewhere around here. So here we are right now in Sheep's Meadow, and oh my God, there she is, Carolina.
Bula, Andrew, how are you doing?
Yo, what does that mean? What you just said?
Oh, Bula is greeting in Fijian, so Bula to you and Bula to everyone.
Bula to everyone. So I was thinking maybe you could teach us a few things about push and pull today.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Preferably not in this environment, so let's head over to my place, which is a few blocks down the road.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go, guys. Okay, so we're back here in Carolina's apartment. Thank you so much for having us here. And I guess I want to start off by talking about, we're here in Midtown Manhattan, and New York City is skyscrapers, it's taxi cabs, it's asphalt streets and street lights and a lot of noise and hustle and bustle. For viewers at home who may not have a good idea of what Fiji is like, which is where you're from, how does it differ from New York?
Growing up there, it's very much the tropics. We had frangipani trees, coconut trees. We had a creek at the very bottom of our property, which we still do now. To me, what resonates the most is that you find Fiji in the highlands, and that's because also my ancestors come specifically from there in the highlands. And it's just really beautiful, and it's very untouched in a lot of ways, very communal, and I love that.
Carolina, you are a globe hopper. You're like Carmen Sandiego. You're just all over the place, right? And now you're here in New York. Right?
Yeah, when I got to New York, I had absolutely nothing set up for my career here in fashion. From there, I sort of had to hustle, like working full-time at Zara for I would say up to 8 months, and then working on my portfolio, my fashion portfolio, so that I could get my foot in the door. And from there on, like, it was just one after the other in the fashion industry. So I built sort of like up to I would say minimum of 15 years working in the industry, and that's very much on the commercial side.
That's a sizable amount of time, yeah.
Yeah.
15 years, well, that was your goal. Your goal was to work in fashion in New York City, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling them earlier about how we met. I had such an amazing time in Franco Kane's class. You're one of my favorite classmates from that period.
I mean.
What did you learn from studying with Frank O'Kane at the Art Students League?
He literally has taught me to see art in a completely whole new perspective. He has taught me how to paint with structure. So before that, everything was completely flat. There was no volume and interaction and surface, you know what I'm saying? So it was just visual noise. And now it's like I'm actually creating paintings because of him.
So when we were both in Frank O'Kane's class, you started working on this series of paintings, which is heavily inspired by Fijian craft.
Yeah.
Now, craft is a manifestation, a physical manifestation of a society's culture. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so very surface level, not going into too much detail. So this is, we have wood carving. That's a tanoa, but that's a very miniature version of it. From my great-grandmother's village in Kambara, they do like the very large pieces where it's functional for drinking yangona/kava out of. Then you have throwing club.
Oh, cool.
As another craft. And fan making. And then also you have masi printing. And all these sorts of crafts come from a specific lineage. So there are people in different provinces or just like through their own family line specialized. They're the custodians for maintaining this to be alive. Mind you, in saying all of this, these are souvenir items, just FYI.
This is really beautiful, by the way. Now we've seen some very concrete examples.
Yeah.
You're telling me that these things are in here, in your painting.
Yeah, so I actually went home a few years ago and learned how to do basket weaving, but it was like baskets that are used for having kaikoso inside or like food, because it's such a common object. So what I did, I took that and abstracted using the Hans Hofmann theory from Frank O'Kane to create sort of like maybe a new visual vocabulary in a sense, I guess, like fusing Western philosophy / theory and applying it to Fijian, sort of Melanesian, Pacific Island craft.
In every episode of Art Makers, we want to learn a little bit of something from the people we have on the show. And today, you're going to tell us a little bit about push and pull, which is a major concept and part of Frank O'Kane's curriculum. And it's a big topic with a lot of different facets. But I think for today, what do you want to focus on? What aspect of it do we want to look at?
So today's demo, I'll be showing how to see the relationship of volume to the surface.
And what does that mean in plain terms?
Oh, you know what? Let me show you.
So we've got three tones here, like a black, a very dark gray, and a very light gray, all vertically arranged.
Yeah.
As you said, it's very flat, right?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna learn about how these volumes relate to the surface and how we can make that flatness kind of go away, right?
Yeah. Let's see if this works. One, I'm just gonna do this. Already.
Ooh. Yeah. Interesting how that already changes the balance of the piece.
Maybe sort of break this up in a way, because
Oh wow,
it's
yeah. That's the highest contrast in the piece, so.
yeah, and it's too even. Everything is on such an even plane.
Yeah. Can I put something?
Yeah.
You want me to put something?
Yeah.
What brush can I use?
Any.
Any. Oh my god. Can I use the medium brush?
The whole idea is just to break up the three sections so that it's not so
Uniform.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Does that work? What do you want to do with that?
Yeah, it does. And I might sort of blend it so that
Ooh. So that it's not as harsh?
yeah, I kind of just made it harsh.
When people talk to me about abstract art, especially like laymen, right? I often get this feeling of an idea that, you know, they have this idea that abstract artists just plop stuff onto the canvas depending on how they feel. And I thought it was really interesting going to O'Kane's class how much craft and thought goes into the brush strokes and every little bit. You know, it may not look as representational as, you know, a beautiful anatomical study,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean it has any less thought put into it or craft.
So basically, this little area is working pretty great because it gets the push-pull idea through. Also over here, I feel like this is like a bit of lost in translation, so I need to sort of rectify it and do some saving. I just want to see something.
I mean, that's really interesting that apart from paint, you're also using like big pieces of paper and putting them on. Where did you get that idea?
So also learning from Frank in his demos is he actually sort of does collaging as well. So painting on pieces of paper, tape, or whatever just to sort of quickly try and break up the space. So that's basically what I've done here. I really do like this whole section here, and then it goes under but pops up and then sort of disappears again but pops up again over on this side. So there's like, that's very much a push-pull like type of movement.
It's a weaving.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
And we're done. Here is the finished piece, before, after. Carolina, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
As you can see in the before, this is completely flat. There's no volume really. It's all equal volume on the surface. And now we are playing with volume here in this position where it's all broken up. It's not even. And you have like the dark coming over this mid-tone light sort of gray. So, and that in itself pushes that back, and then it pushes this other gray further back. So it's like a 3 sort of tier type of volume of movement there.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, and then also up in this area too, and then over here where it sort of is on the top, then it dips down and then comes back up, and then it's like a little hint up there. So this is just an example for the relationship of volume to the surface.
All right. Thank you so much, Carolina, for spending your time with us, for sharing of yourself and your work. If you guys want to check out more of her work, make sure to look at the links in the description. They're all going to be down there, okay? This has been Andrew Derlon signing off for Art Makers. Boom, boom, boom. Peace out.